and I'm trying my best to get through this video because when I'm doing stuff, I'm gonna have to show y'all when I'm doing it, because the reason why is because I might not be able to edit a video for everything that I want to show you. All right, so I don't know what happened. My phone has like these timers when school starts of when to go to bed, when to shut down. Sometimes I'm not adhering to the schedule. So that's what happens. Because my day, in order to get the most out of my day, I just put myself on the schedule. Anyway, sorry about that. Um, I'm gonna have to find a way to make sure that I have those things on my phone, but that it doesn't interrupt my lives. So I gotta make a note of that. Anyway, back to what I was saying, guys. Sorry about the confusion on my channel. My name is Loving Lucinda, and I'm a I'm a teacher slash content creator. So I'm looking a little rough right now, but that's okay because it's not about what I look like. But let me take my hair down, because when I put my hair up, and y'all know how the black women's is, if people don't see a whole bunch of hair hanging down, I don't get it. Whatever. I hope you guys can see me. I hope you guys can see me. I really, really do. I really, really do. Okay. But anyway, I'm going to go on with this video. I'll go back and re-edit and all that kind of stuff. I just want to get through this because I got some reading to do. And I need to get this stuff done because tomorrow I got some more stuff to do. All right. So, like I said, we're living in this year. It's all about math and it's all about science. If you notice, these two books look a lot alike. Thank God somebody listened to the teachers. Your math and your science curriculum should be cousins. Because if we want our students to be prepared, we need for the material to mirror each other. We only have 90 minutes. We got to get science and math done. So we don't have a whole lot of time to be going to this curriculum, making sure it coincides with your state standards. So your school will probably already have curriculum to match your standards. If your school district does not have curriculum that embeds the standards from the state, this is what I mean by a state standard. Do we see that number? Okay, that is a standard. What this means is that your district has partnered with the nation and they thoroughly understand what a child at a certain age must learn. That's important because if you don't have a clear picture of what the expectation is, the entire school is lost. You got to have objectives or standards. You just got to have them. Okay? Hello to everybody coming in. Hello, hello. I hope that everybody's being nice. But my name is Loving Lucinda. I am a content creator and I'm an educator. I teach 5th grade math and science. I teach at a urban school. It is predominantly black and Hispanic. It is in a urban area. And I believe in all kids and all kids should learn. Typically the area that I live in, people are going to have more negative than I live in. Typically the areas that I teach in, that's going to be the areas that most people are going to talk about as far as crime, as far as opportunities. That's where I'm needed and that's where I'm going to be. So somebody has pointed out what's around my neck. Let me go ahead and shout out a couple of things that I think that are essential. First, we have this neck lamp. Yes, it has a light. And it's for those people who read in bed. And I am one of those people. Yeah. I shouldn't do this, but I do it. All right. The next thing is for tension, stress, because I typically do this a lot. My head is like this a lot. What happens over the years as a teacher, we tend to wear out our necks. Okay? Because we'll go to sleep with the book. We'll wake up with the book. We don't sleep like we're supposed to. Okay? And so what happens is we damage those muscles in our neck. So in order to keep that from happening to me, I keep heat on my neck to keep those muscles lubricated so that I can do things like this and I won't have that ache, because that is a big thing with teachers. And I always advocate to new teachers, take care of your body, because that body brings information to children. So if that body is not taken care of, then you're not going to bring the right information and energy to children. So take care of yourself. All right. So do you have a liver? Yes, I do have a liver. This is not dialysis, y'all. This is a heating pad. It's a heating pad. All right. So, and for those of you who are coming in here to be distractive, don't distract me on a live like this that's serious, because this helps my community. There's a black mother somewhere, or a brown mother, or a mother somewhere whose child is going to be in 5th grade, and they may need to kind of get more understanding about what their child is going to learn. So I want to give them more context. I want them to pull from themselves to be able to help their children. So that's what I'm going to do. So that's where your child's teacher is going to start with the standard. His or her lesson has to be driven from that state standard. If it's not, they're marked down. And you definitely want your child's teacher to be well versed in standards. And if they're planning, which 9 times out of 10, they're going to be planning with other people, usually what happens is I'm experienced. Usually what I do is the younger teachers, they usually kind of rally around me and they watch me, because it's a method to my madness. All right. You'll see that this documents will be very raggedy and marked on. So what they give you is a focus. So there's a document on the back of the standard that breaks the standard down into a focus. I used to have to do this. This is the reason why I'm kind of batty now. I used to have to take a standard and break it down into levels. I used to have to do this on my own. Now, thank God, somebody has done it for me. So now all I have to do is read, scan through, and pick out the parts that I want kids to remember. Hold on, y'all. Let me bend down and get this piece of paper. I hope I don't fall. Oh. Well, I didn't fall. Can you teach me how to do 8th grade math? No, if you're an 8th grader, please get off of here. I don't want you on here. So this is not a channel for children. I do not want children on my channel at all. Somebody call me Jimmy Neutron. If I gotta be Jimmy Neutron, that's what I gotta be, baby. Anyway. So when you take a standard, it should be broken down into levels. So mid-level will always be the grade level. So they're going to break down so when we talk to you and we say, hey, Rayshawn, doing our lesson on decimals, I noticed that Rayshawn did not that he wasn't able to interpret factors. He wasn't able to, so basically when he wasn't able to interpret factors, he wasn't able to interpret the numbers that he needs, okay? He doesn't identify what a factor is, okay? So by me having those expectations, you see how it says interpret the factors and product in a given whole number, multiplication equation within 100 using the mathematical language of groups and objects. Okay? This is what I know what I should see on your child's paper. So when you, so this is going to come into play, especially for you parents doing homework, because you're probably going to say, well, he did the work. What's the problem? He didn't do the work. It's broken down into what we must see from your child to ensure that they have concept. It's conceptual knowledge and it's practice. A concept is me teaching steps. See, the old way, back when we were in class, we had a math book. We did the work. We tore out the page. The teacher put a check on it, gave it back to us. What can you prove that you learned from me giving you a paper with a grade? What does that prove? If I give you a paper with a grade, what does that prove? Does that prove that you mastered the skill? Yes or no? Vapes? No, that I have vapes around my neck. Get out of here with that weird shit. I'm gonna have to do a whole lot of blocking on this one because I don't have time for the foolishness. So I didn't see anybody answer my question. Just because you get a piece of paper with a grade on it, that to me does not indicate that my student has learned. What helps me to make sure that my student has learned is a tracker. Because I need to go through and see, okay, they did do whatever they said that they must see here. Remember on this document where it says interpret factors and products in a given whole number? That should be my step 1. If they got it, they get a check. If they don't, they get a check over here. Why is that important? Because when I finish the lesson, if your child is one that's got it, then your child can go on to something else. If this child is one that didn't get it, then I pulled that child over and I got proof of why the child needed to be pulled over. Because as a parent, you may say, well, Miss Speaks, why did you have to pull Ray over to the table twice? He did really well in math last year. And then I can pull out this document. And then I can pull out this document. Because I need for you and I to be on the same accord. And I need to show you what I'm doing so that you understand the why. Because when you say, okay, so you want him to be able to show you these steps of things, and this is what you need to see. Yes. Okay, I got it. Yes, ma'am. Well, I can make sure that he knows his timetables. So, and that way, when he comes to class, you can just start with decimals, place value, blah, blah, and he'll understand the concept. That's the reason why I want to talk to you all, so I can get you to see that your job as the parent and the teacher's job, y'all, it's the same thing, okay? It's the same thing. We just, and I know this is boring content, but we just have to take the time to show you all as parents what we must see, what our non-negotiables are, and how we actually plan to teach the lesson. Once you see that and you see what goes into it, and you see the why behind it, then as a community, you'll be like, oh, okay, when your teacher calls me and says this is why she needs you to do that. And it makes it so much clearer, guys. Because as a parent, if you don't know why I'm teaching a subject, what that entails, what your child needs to know, and what you should see in your child once I've taught it, then I need to do a better job of communicating that. And that's what I'm here to do. All right. So I have my standard. I have what I need to look for. I've already changed those things and put them into this document. So when I walk around, I can see who did what. Therefore, if you have a question, I can show you. Well, she did well on interpreting, but therefore, when she had to identify the factors, because there's the language right there. Factor, whole number, given. These are terms. So these terms, you'll see them in the classroom. When you see them in the classroom, you'll say, oh, okay. Listen, I saw your teacher was talking to you about factors. There's some numbers up there at the grocery store. Which one, just make it relatable, guys. It's just that simple. Once you're doing that to kind of back us up, we're going to be able to see it in the classroom, because their conversation, they're going to start using the key vocabulary. They're going to start to use the steps. They're going to be participating more in class, okay? Once we see that participation, once we have written down the skill and what we need to see, and your child is showing that they have mastered that, then I'm going to push your child up to another level, because my job is to stimulate them at their level and to keep them going up. Okay? Stimulate, push up. Stimulate, push up. Stimulate, push up. No matter what that particular goal is, I'm going to always, because this document has told me what to look for. So I'm going to have higher level things that have these skills in it. And I'm going to have some maybe not as high, so I can catch everybody within that one day. Okay? And then the next day, I'm going to review that and push it a little further and push it a little further. Am I going to stop teaching it? No. I'm going to just put it in another pile as maybe something where they can do more independently. Maybe I'll bring something new and bring it back in the next 2 days, because I got to keep kind of bringing things to their attention so they won't forget it. This is what I call sticky icky. All right. Once the child has learned the skill, my job then becomes to make it sticky icky. When I say sticky icky, I mean they need to remember it. So that's where those different words that I pointed out, that's part of that, because those are the words I'm going to be listening for. Those are what I'm going to be looking to see if the child is demonstrating that. And that's how I know they're listening, they're paying attention. And that's how it goes. I can tell because I got to train eye and ear. Okay? And that's how it goes. So these 2 documents are my Bibles. Okay? I live by these 2 documents. So I always have a fresh one and an old one. And I keep, when I'm done with them, I put them in a binder, because if the principal comes in the district, they want to know, why are you teaching it this way? And this is my proof. Okay? You have to prove and overprove. All right. That's one part of how I get started with the lesson. I start with the standard. I make sure that I understand the standard. I make sure that I understand the levels to the standard. And then I make sure that I go and I study the focus standard. I haven't even started with the books yet. This just gives me the concept. This builds the lesson. Okay? This right here gives you your teacher knowledge. Okay? So you got this document. You're going to go through, read. You're going to highlight. You're going to take little notes. As you can see, I have little notes and little stuff here and there. Because I know one part of this is where kids are going to do more exploration. I want my students to explore. I don't want to tell them everything. I want them to figure it out for themselves. So I allow students to struggle. But what I build is confidence, because what I don't want them to think is that as soon as they sit and look at a piece of paper, that a correct answer is going to just jump into their brains. There's a process to your brain conceptualizing what you should learn. And my job is to help motivate that and to help cultivate that. These documents help me so much, okay? So, let's see here. These other documents. Okay, this one I'll have to do on a separate video. This one shows you like what I do with a small group and how I break down the steps. But 5th grade math, my job is to get them ready for more of a pre-algebraic type of class, okay? All right. So day 1, folks, we coming up with variables day 1. Day 1. Because this is what they'll be seeing in middle school. My job is to make sure that they have it in front of them in 5th grade, even in 4th grade, okay? Because this is where it's going. Once they see that, and it also gives them that shock, like, oh, this is what we're going to be learning? Yes. So I'm going to have your full attention. And they kind of get it, right? They kind of get it. I'm new to scamming business. Oh my, I'm getting the fruitcakes tonight, I see. But nevertheless, this is called a teacher-created exemplar. All right. Remember I told you a few minutes ago when I started, I always have problems written down. I usually have 3, and they're usually on sticky notes, and my sticky note fell. And I'm going to need that for my lesson. It must be in the bed. Anyway, so this called a teacher exemplar. So what I do is I write out the problem, okay? And see, this right here helps keep me accountable, because they kind of say, okay, this is what we need to look at for your teacher exemplar. It's simply what an exemplar is. I have gone ahead of your child before the lesson. I have written down the problems. I have worked out the problems. You have to work out the problems in math before you teach it. If you don't work them out before you teach it, you can't teach it. I have to actually sit down, open up the book, work out the problem, make a mistake, go back, figure out my mistake. And if I make a mistake in it, I'm definitely going to lead in teaching that part so my students don't make a mistake. Then what I'm going to do is think, okay, if I made a mistake here, what mistake do I think kids will make? I'm going to write those down. I'm going to answer those questions. I'm going to flip that question when I get in front of kids. Use it as a question. I'm not going to use it as, hey, y'all, I worked this problem out and I got it wrong. No. Because when kids hear that, they go, oh, okay, here we go again. I know how to frame that question to get them to kind of think. And then I'll show them. After I finish, then I'll say, hey, guys, last night I worked this out and I made a mistake on this part. Let me show you. I always do that at the end so they can be like, oh, okay. So she didn't understand. Okay, so you was confused by that too. That's that time for me to have a conversation with them called math talk. And I show them how using the vocabulary and using the steps will make it sticky icky for them to remember the skill. And that is a lesson in a nutshell. That's pretty much what I do. Now, I rotate it in different ways when I pull them over to a small group because I only have maybe 15 minutes with them, so I can't go through all of that. It may be like a quick little reviewing addition or something like that, but it's going to be something that helps. Again, if I keep it towards this standard for the day, I'm not all over the place. So yeah, and that's pretty much how you develop your lesson that keeps you accountable, that keeps the students accountable. You have a grade at the end. Once you record that grade, you're done for the day. And I tried to make that pretty simple, so you guys can kind of understand. I didn't have time to really get into my curriculum books tonight because I got to do some reading on those. But I will kind of be showing you different things with that as well. Like I said, my name of my channel is Loving Lucinda. I am a content creator and teacher. So since planning and teaching is my life, that's a lot of what you guys will see on my channel. During the beginning planning stages, I will show you a lot of things that I do so that you will bridge the gap between teacher and student and parent. And I will bridge the gap between teacher, parent, and student. In order for us to move these kids, we got to work together. And by me showing you what we go through, the process of a lesson, that will help you to understand what your child's teacher is going through and maybe try to help your child, your grandchild, or whomever. So that's the purpose when I do these lives. So when you see that in the title, please make sure that you read my titles before you come to my channel and start like giving me a whole lot of feedback in the chat, because if you're just trolling, if you're a kid, this is not the channel for you. This is a channel for grown-ups. And so yeah, you will be blocked. Okay, and that's just that on that. So I want to go ahead and get into a few comments, maybe have to block a few people, and then we'll get out of here because Real Spill got the music playing. So I can listen to some music, chit-chat with a couple of people that I know, and read over some material while I party with my friends. Somebody got time on their hands before school start to help people learn their mouth with their children not twerking. Yes, to help with their math before school start. Yes. I'm not twerking. I know it's a Friday night. I know that most of you probably wouldn't be reading these things on a Friday night, but this is my life. This is what I do. This is normal to me. In order for me to be a good teacher, I have to sacrifice certain things. Yeah, I like to have fun. I like to party and everything. But when school starts, my students come first. So I have learned that I can miss a party. I can miss a movie night. I can miss an event. I can miss some things. But my students, they don't deserve to miss anything. Me teaching them is going to be the difference between them making good decisions in life and bad decisions in life. I don't care if the world thinks it's weird to be sitting up here with books on a Friday night reading curriculum and talking about curriculum. I don't care. It's important to those students and it's important to me. You can either support the channel or you can scroll by. But as for me and my channel, we're going to support learning. We're going to be bored sometimes. We're going to listen to other careers because I don't want any door closed for myself and for the kids. Okay? You can scroll up and down this app and you can see examples of where people gave up on children and they failed children. Those children grow up to become people who failed children. Not on this channel and not on this platform. Thank you for apologizing for trolling. If you can let all the other trolls know at Troll Association that this channel is to help people, you can troll all day long. I can ignore you. I work with 5th graders. I can ignore a troll. I do it in my sleep, literally. I have very thick skin. Okay? The kids have taught me that. And I am so grateful that they taught me that. So, yeah, guys, I'm going to go ahead and dig into this science. I've kind of been already digging into the math online. But I got to dive into the science book. So I'm getting ready to relax, listen to some music, peek in over there at JP, and just let her just vibe me out while I'm reading. And that's it for the night. I took a nap. I did come earlier. I was doing a little bit of this, but my phone was being weird. So I took a nap, as you can tell by my voice. I took a nap. And so whenever I do that, I try to make sure that I'm prepared for the next day. Now, school doesn't start right now. So what I'm doing now is going ahead and breaking down lessons for week 1 and 2. I like to be 2 weeks ahead. 2 weeks ahead. And then what I do is I'll go back and revisit the lesson the night before. And I go to sleep on it. So whatever works in my brain, whatever ideas, by the next morning, and that's the weird thing about me, is that the next morning, those ideas, I leave with them, man. That's what, and I'm just blessed in that. Like, I just have this craziness. But y'all, I am so in love with this science book. Y'all, I'm going to have a student teacher for science, and that teacher is going to be doing most of the projects. So because it has STEM, I'll have everything. And that's the reason why I asked for donations, is because I have a garden. So I'm going to be doing classroom outside. So I'm going to be asking people to like volunteer, help me like come on camera, and I'll be in the garden and kind of show you like, hey, what should I do in this little area? Blah, blah, blah. I think it's going to be cute. So, yeah, I got to get through this science book and see where we are going to be taking these kids for the first week of science. So I need to get into this book and kind of map out some things. But, yeah, I love it, guys. The kids are going to love this. So, yeah, just trying to make it fun for kids, get them excited about learning. And that's basically what I'm about to do. So I hope you guys are about to have a good night. It's actually a good thing you're doing. Sorry for trolling. Thank you so much, Viper. This is a good thing that I'm doing. I love it. I just love it. I just get so excited. Oh my God, my science book! Oh, I'm such a nerd. But I love it, I love it, I love it. So, baby, I'm getting ready to get into this good science, honey, and break down what these children and I are going to be learning for the first couple of weeks, so I can work with my teacher next week and we can get all of our stuff together. So, yeah, I'll talk to you guys later.